Welcome to another episode of 7 Minutes. My name is Chris Wright. I'm with my friend Beverly Swim. Say hi, Bev.
Hi, everybody.
So actually today I am a little bit nervous um, because I get to interview someone I actually work with. Um, she's our CEO, she's our boss, and I've just been so impressed with her from the first day I met her. For those of you out there who know me, I've been in the real estate space for 10 years. I had no intention of leaving it. I really planned to be there for the rest of my life. But then I got introduced to Grasshopper and I got introduced to Amanda. And I just thought, I want to work with this woman. I just, it was just something about my own dreams, goals, and aspiration that she mirrored. And I thought, wherever I want to go, I thought she could take me there professionally and I would grow. You heard the term, you're a sum of the five people that you're around or your five best. I wanted Amanda in my circle. So I wanted, there you go. So that was awesome.
That's a win for me.
That's awesome.
How do I sign up for that?
So Amanda is, she's the CEO of Grasshopper Heating and Cool. And it's so funny. She's, I don't even like to say that she's a boss because she's bigger than that. So she's the CEO of Grasshopper Heating and Cooling. 2016, you took over this great company, and it's grown to be one of the fastest growing HVAC companies in the country, not just in our area, but in the country. I know that the people in the HVAC space all over America look up to her, ask her to speak in Vegas, ask her to speak in California. She's visited some of the big players in the industry. And Amanda said, I just want to run my company. Stop calling me to speak. And she's very passionate about that. So in February 2021, Grasshopper Heating and Cooling was born. And the company, we're celebrating our 2-year anniversary on February 1st. Woo! Very excited about that. In Amanda, in just 2 years, how did Grasshopper become what it's become?
Isn't it crazy? I mean, Chris, you've been with us, what, month now, right?
A month and a half. Yeah, it's been, a month and a half.
Right? And it's like, to me, the fact that we're only celebrating our 2-year anniversary as Grasshopper in like 21 days is mind-boggling to me, because it feels like we've been doing this so much longer, and everything just feels right and natural. And so the only thing I can say is great branding and great people.
Yeah. So why Grasshopper? Why that? Everyone looks at us like, because we always get mixed up with Grasshopper, the landscaping company.
Right.
And I'm sure they don't have the same vision or reason that you have. They can't, because you think deeper than that. So why Grasshopper?
So I hired a rebranding company. We were commercial only, and I was trying for the longest time to get into residential service, and I couldn't figure out how to do it without essentially going bankrupt and then starting a new company. And then COVID hit, right? And it's like, well, the governor shut down construction job sites. So what business did I have at that point? None. And I'm one of those people that never really accepts the answer no. I accepted no within healthy boundaries, but like, just the no with the no is test me and I'll find a way, right? So we found a way forward, no pun intended here. So we found a way forward. We hired a rebranding company, and I studied the heck out of the residential market. I connected with people. I reached out to people. I had no idea who they were, but I could tell that I needed to know who they were because they were doing something right, because they stayed moving when COVID hit. So I did a lot of research, and it led me to really great branding and memorable branding that I did not have. And the key to having great people is having people enjoy where they work too, in the name of the company. Previously, the branding, it just wasn't there. So with a list of 5 selections, Grasshopper Heating Cooling was not included in the first 5 because I am a person that I've got to feel it. If I feel it, I can run with it no matter what it is. If I don't feel it, it's not there. And the answer is a no at that point, right? So I said, look, thank you for your thought that went into this, but I can't run one of these names because I didn't feel it. I'm one of those people that's got to feel it. I cannot envision me running with this at all. So then the owner of the company says, well, how about Grasshopper Heating and Cooling? And I'm like, oh man, I made a bad decision. This is getting worse by the name. So then that night, I'm like, Amanda, you got to like look into these and see if you can pull any meaning. Like, what do these mean? There's a reason why they suggest them. So I went to Google and I was like, define grasshopper. And what came up was that grasshoppers only move in a forward direction, and they're responsible for decomposition and regrowth in the ecosystem, which is literally the story of this company. We decompose to regrow, right? And I had the chills. It was like meant to be. And, you know, moving in a forward direction is something I'm very passionate about in life. And here we are, Grasshopper Heating and Cooling is born, and there's much purpose behind the brand, which is something that inspires me every single day when I get out of bed, and inspires me to lead my people better. So.
Gotcha. Awesome.
I hear you talk about passion all the time, right? What
Yes.
else are you passionate about?
Honestly, it's leading people to become better versions of themselves. I mean, Chris has been in grass. I'll let you speak to that, and then I'll piggyback off of that, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, she is extremely passionate about people. You know, people say that all the time. I'm passionate about people, but every decision she makes, it's about how would that affect the people?
Mm-hmm.
And that's when you know that people are passionate about people. She has to make some really, really tough decisions day to day. And it's always about, my first priority is, how is it going to affect the people? And if it affects the people negatively, she'll think of something else, which is awesome.
Yeah, I'll find it, and we'll find a way forward, right? And like, it's, you can hear I'm passionate about your people. Okay, we know you care. People care about people. It's a natural thing, right? But being the catalyst that's able to help provide an environment or a career or a purpose for somebody that stimulates life change, and Grasshopper is just the avenue in which we are able to provide life change. That is when passion meets purpose for me, right? And that is what fuels me every single day, is finding that in each individual person. And it's never the same for each person. So it's learning and listening to your people, and heating and cooling just happens to be the gateway to be able to do that, right?
That's right, right. Behind your head, it says forward is a way of life.
That's right.
One of the questions that goes through my mind is, what mistakes have you made, and what were you able to learn from them and use going forward? But it sounds like you just take that and run with it.
Listen, I've made a lot of mistakes. There was a point in time where I didn't understand culture as much, and I didn't understand what listening to your people went, and I was not a strong leader. You know, I have a leadership coach that I work with now, and he develops me personally so that I can lead better, and that I can be a better version of myself, so that the people that I serve benefit from that too, right? There was a point in time where I did not get things right, and I still fail. I give the disclaimer all the time, like, you know, this is the best place I've ever worked. I love working here, da, da, da. And I always give the disclaimer because people fail, people naturally, right? Nobody's perfect. And it's like, look, I will fail you. I just ask for a little bit of grace when that happens, because you understand that I'm not perfect, or that we're not perfect, right? And so it's, you know, there was times where maybe I didn't hire the right people, or maybe I was a bad leader because I didn't take somebody off the bus sooner than later, and affected culture negatively here. There was a lot I had to learn financially when I first stepped into this, and what it looked like to take, you know, red numbers to green numbers. And I have learned a lot of lessons the hard way, but the thing about me is that I only need to learn lessons usually once in life, and I'm good.
You know, if I asked you a question no, actually, I didn't ask you a question. I had made a comment. So since I've been working at Grasshopper, and I watch how people move, every day people are going to make mistakes. Every day people are going to do the wrong thing. And the one thing I noticed, no one ever worries about losing their job for making a mistake. Amanda allows us that grace to make that mistake. And no one ever worries about their job. They don't worry about, how they feel. But what I noticed is that no one wants to let you down, Amanda. Like, no one wants to disappoint you. And I go, how do you build that as a leader, and professionally and personally? How do you build a culture around yourself where people just don't want to disappoint you?
So that's a hard question for me, right? And when you and I had talked about this a few weeks back, right? And so I did some contemplating before I responded to you, because I'm like, well, what does the reflection of that actually mean? And the reflection of that for me is that when they don't want to disappoint me, or when they're talking to you and they're like, I don't want to let Amanda down, or I'm going to go get them because I'm not going to let Amanda down. It's, they know that I am personally committed to them on levels with just them individually, just like I'm personally committed to everybody here, no matter what it is. No matter if I'm celebrating that you're 1 month ahead of your rent instead of 1 month behind, or I'm celebrating that you made 4 weeks of paycheck that you would normally make in 1 week here, or I'm celebrating that you bought a house, or I'm celebrating that you bought a car, or I'm celebrating that you got your first sale, or you booked your first membership, whatever it is, right? They know that I'm personally committed to them. And I think that that goes both ways, where they're also personally committed to Grasshopper and myself and this company. And, you know, there's those cliche statements of like, yeah, I put my life on the line for you, da, 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 which, okay. But truly, I would do anything for any of my employees in that regard. And then my goal is to get them so self-confident in themselves and their purpose and their careers that they care more ultimately about not letting themselves down, because my goal is to empower them to a place where that's what matters.
That's impressive, and like I said, it's not just words. I see it every single day, and people really get down in themselves. They like, I just feel like I let Amanda down. So that's an amazing way to be, because leaders lead by fear a lot of time.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't do this, this is the result. And I don't see that at Grasshopper, and that's you know, a testament to you and how.
And
you
going
lead.
back to what Beverly said with that, right, is that it seems like I have it all together, and that's like, sometimes that's like the highlight reel, right? Because you would not imagine the hurdles that I've had to overcome in the last 7 years. And it's like, within Grasshopper, I want people to fail and I want people to get it wrong, because in my opinion, that's where the true growth happens. And so there's one thing I say: we will fail and we will celebrate the failure, and we'll celebrate it once, because it means that you're going to learn from it, and then we're going to move forward. No pun intended, right? We're going to move forward, and then it's not going to happen again, and you're going to be better because of it. So all I ask is that you're honest and you tell me when a mistake happens so that we can make it right together and then keep moving.
Yeah, it sounds, what's that old adage? If you're smart, you learn from your mistakes, but if you're wise, you learn from other people's mistakes. And it sounds like you have a great team environment in which you can learn from one another.
It's the difference when you make it about your people and not centered around money, you know?
Absolutely, absolutely. You're in a different space. You're a unicorn in so many ways, because women that are in the mechanical space, women that are in the HVAC space, is very rare. And I'm sure you've seen this around the country. I believe in the Capital Region, are you the only woman that's the CEO of a HVAC company?
No, there's one more.
There's one more, great. And then nationally, do you know how many women there are that are CEOs of HVAC companies?
I don't know off the top of my head. I do know some of them are friends of mine that we've connected on social media and at different trade events. And I know that there's some real powerhouses out there that we just unite and empower each other.
Well, are there any challenges involved in that, with suppliers, with other companies, how they see you, whether they respect you? You see any challenges in being a woman in this space?
I think it depends on who you ask, Chris, to be honest with you. It's all in who you ask that question to, because I think everybody's perception, experiences, confidence, that I think it's all different across the board. I can tell you, normally people don't take you seriously until they know what you're talking about, right? I recently had a distributor that wanted to get our business walk into here. They came in, they toured the spot, they sat in the training room, and the first question out of their mouth is, so who's the private investor behind all this? Because you couldn't have done this yourself. Ask me if I did business with them.
Oh my God. That's
So the answer
horrible.
is there's no private investor. As you know, Chris, I'm the sole owner, and just because we have a really great brand and a great culture doesn't mean that there needs to be all this money behind us of what we do. And just because I'm a woman doesn't mean that I'm not capable of being able to create, run, whatever you want to call the operation. When you walk in, you see it, it's a different experience, and it's an experience when you walk in, right? Nothing says heating and cooling. Honestly, we're all about empowering women at Grasshopper. I mean, Chris has he's got a female comfort advisor on his team right now. We've got one more that's making its way, and we put powerful women in powerful positions here, and you watch us 2 years from now, I promise you that.
That's amazing. You were asked in a magazine one time. I read that. It said, how they put it. They said, do you belong to any contractor groups?
Right.
And your answer was, no, I'm working on perfecting and making Grasshopper to be a template in the industry. And I
Yep.
thought that was awesome. You were like, no, I don't want to mirror other people as much as I want people to mirror us. Talk to that a little bit.
So there's a lot of like best practices groups out there, and I don't have personal experience with them. I have not hired them. Other companies hire them, I know. And some people, look, they don't have all the business experience, so they don't have a mentor, they don't have a coach, so they have to partner with somebody to remain successful and then grow, right? Because the growth happens when you're stretched outside your comfort zone, you learn and you move forward with it, right? I have, since day one of interviewing people here and listening to the complaints that they have about their current employers or previous employers, a lot of it stems down to the organization and the processes and the procedures inside of the company. And I have done my best from start to finish. In Beverly, like I said, I have failed and I've learned from the failures, right? Of what works, what doesn't work, what people want to be a part of and what people want no part of. And I have remained extremely tight-gripped on remaining in full control of Grasshopper, meaning allowing no outside influence to come in and dictate who Grasshopper is. We continue to build our own template and our own wheel, so to speak, that we continue to build off of and keep the wheel turning. But I will not allow another company to come in here and tell us how Grasshopper should be ran. And this means that we do, unfortunately, but fortunately, learn from trial and error, which I'm okay with, because we're like, ooh, that didn't work. Oh yeah, this works great, and let's do it. And it's 2023. I'm sure most people have read all the reports that it's no longer about the highest dollar amount or the highest salary amount. It's not the money that employees are staying for anymore at careers and at jobs. So you have got to listen to them, and you've got to know what motivates your people. Another company coming in telling you to run your company is not going to be a sustainable approach. That is my opinion only. Feel free to disagree with me. That's fine. But for Grasshopper and myself, that's what I'm speaking on.
That's great. That's great.
Do you have any, it sounds like you've got a lot on your plate, and hiring Chris was probably one of the better decisions you've ever made, because I took that off your plate. But yeah. Do you have any suggestions, or do you have things that you do during the day that help you stay organized and focused and driven?
Yeah, so I actually was just sharing with my team one of my goals for 2023, which was dedicating an hour a day to personal development for my own self, because that's something that I lacked on coming out of the fourth quarter of 2022. So just to give you a little idea, 30 minutes in the morning and then 30 minutes at night when I'm home, I dedicate 30 minutes each side of my day, whether it's listening to a podcast, reading a book, researching something, or just diving into research on the industry as a whole, or taking a training on our CRM software, whatever it may be. Development that keeps me growing and keeps me inspired and keeps forcing my thoughts outside of my comfort zone or what's ordinary for me. It's really important that I myself stay motivated. So I'm focusing on that moving into 2023. The only other thing I can say is I'm naturally an introvert. And so like with my introvert tendencies, right, Chris? I've got regimented routines. In the morning when I wake up, my alarm goes off at 4:40 every single day. I'm up. I stay in my routine from start to finish when I leave for work, and I make a list. And so I make a list of, I'm a big advocate for weighing what's urgent and important every day and eliminating what's not urgent and important. It's the Eisenhower matrix for those of you that want to speak in the Eisenhower matrix term. Somebody comes in my office, I'm like, is this urgent and important? No. Okay, we'll talk about it in a little while, you know? So keeping me on task, but making a list of what's urgent and important and what I must get done. That way, no matter what comes at me in a day, there's a list of things that I know must get done no matter what.
You know, it's funny. That's a great segue there, because that was one of my questions. I don't know if you saw it, but I posted on Facebook, you know, asking people, how do you help introverted people become more successful in business? And I was thinking about you when I asked that question, and you just answered it perfectly, so I don't have to go back to that. I do want to ask you, what's the most important aspect of your job to you?
Ooh, I never thought of that one, Chris.
All right, there you go.
The most important aspect of my job, I think, is listening to my people. It's not about what Amanda thinks or what Amanda says or what, what I think is best. I can implement things all day long, but if you're not listening to your people, I think you're going to end up with bigger problems than what meets the eye, because people have really great advice. And so something my business leadership coach taught me, right? Instead of giving people my opinion, sometimes I ask questions, because I don't want to always give the answer or give them an easy out. And so today I found myself, one of my employees was texting me something for my approval, and I caught myself like that because I went to go tell them my opinion. And so instead I said, well, what do you think about this? And it was just about a flyer. It wasn't anything important. And I said, do you think that this looks busy, or does this look better? Because I thought it looked busy, but I didn't want to just give her my answer and have her run with it. And she goes, my opinion is it looks busy and we need to cut out this and that. And then I was like, yes, Amanda, that's a win, because you're asking them to speak and you're not speaking for them, and you're listening to your people.
That's awesome.
That's brilliant. So what do you have planned for 2023?
What don't we have planned, Beverly? Honestly, Chris has been such a great addition to the team. We've got executive leadership meetings at the end of the week now, where we just come together, and he brought this spreadsheet to the meeting that was just genius and mind-blowing to me. And I'm like, holy crap, where have you been for the last 2 years? So I'm surrounding myself with the right people. We're bringing some really great additions onto the leadership team, because Lord knows I can't do this by myself. So finding the really great people to help run the ship with me has been instrumental thus far. We've got some really aggressive growth strategies happening here. But most importantly, and Chris is my witness here, our most aggressive plan is upping the employees' experience here. So yes, sales matter, numbers matter. We've got high goals as far as revenue goes, but our important aspect that we led into going in 2003 was, how do we better the employee experience every single day?
And that is huge. And I'm so glad you said that, because that's what drew me in, was the culture, just walking on the grass. And Beverly, you know the term, the grass looks greener on the other side? When you walk into our building, you walk on grass.
Yeah.
So it was the immediate thing that caught my attention. Well, unless Beverly, you have anything else, I would just want to thank you, Amanda, for joining us today. I think that people are going to learn a lot from you. I think people will be able to grow from you. Is there any last comments that you want to say, Amanda?
Okay. Yeah, my last comments are, let's lead 2023 strong. I believe that forward is the way of life. So no matter if you take 2 steps backwards to take 4 steps forward, forward is a way of life, and don't let anything get in your way.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, Amanda Triolo, thank you so much for coming on. And we look forward to everyone seeing this on 7 Minutes. Thank you so much. You have a good day, okay?
Bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.